We are at 7 o'clock.
Are we ready to start recording?
We are recording.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the school committee to order on July 27th at 7 o'clock. I'd like to read the Douglas mission statement for the Douglas Public Schools. Offer a diverse learning and experiences that meet the academic, social, physical, and emotional needs of all students. We provide a safe, supportive, and challenging learning environment in which students may achieve academic success and personal growth. Decisions are made in the best interest of our students. So can I do a roll call vote of all of the members, school committee members attending via our Zoom online?
Beth Bergstrom here.
Teresa Brooks, present.
Frank Salvage, present.
Heather Moore, present. Thank you all. So we're going to skip over the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't believe we have a student representative this evening as well.
We do not.
So we'll open the floor up for public comment. I don't think we have anybody for public comment.
And we do not have anyone in the chat either.
Okay, seeing that there is none, I'd like to move on to address any of the old business that we need to discuss, Dr. Vera.
We do not have any.
And so we're gonna now move on to the new business, correct?
Correct. All right, moving right along. Before I turn it over to our CPAC representatives, just a couple quick things to go over. Earlier today, I sent an email out to the elementary school community that we've hired an elementary school principal. Anthony DeFonso is our new Douglas Elementary School principal. He signed his contract today. He's been in with us. Next week, he is sending something out to staff and to the community to welcome himself, introduce himself, and set up some meet and greets with people so people can come in and talk to him, staff and community, to introduce themselves to him and so he can share a little bit about himself with them. Also earlier this week, Dr. Romano resigned his position from the high school. I sent something out to high school staff and parents. I'm really excited for Dr. Romano. He's had a change in his personal life, and as sad as it is for us to lose him, as awesome as he was for us and for our kids, this is a great move for him personally and professionally, and I'm really excited for him and what this opportunity means for him and for his family. So really excited for that. But to that end, we're also now in the process of looking for an interim high school principal. I posted on Monday. I've already had yesterday I posted. I've already had a bunch of people apply. I had 2 conversations with people yesterday who are interested in the position. I had a conversation with someone today who's interested in the position, and I have 2 phone calls tomorrow for other people who are interested in the position for the interim. So I will be sending something out on probably Thursday or Friday of this week to set up a small interview committee for the week of August 8th. For us to get together and interview prospective applicants for the position at Douglas High School. So that's my quick update on the 2 positions. With that said, we have CPAC here to present their annual presentation. I am responsible for the screen share and for moving the slides along. I'm hopeful, Beth, that I too can follow directions and slide them. So I'm just going to turn it over. Who am I turning it over to?
To me, we'll just go the way it is in the packet, if that's okay. That way it'll just be a little bit easier. So we'll start with kind of the year in review document.
Okay, so I will share my screen. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Can we, Dr. Vera, I don't know if you can see my screen, but can you go to the one that says CPAC 2020-21 to 2020-22 year in review?
this is all that Mr. Villamere shared with me. If you have another document, you can email it to me right now and I will pull it up.
Well, you know what? We'll be flexible and we'll go with the survey first because it's there. That's what we do, right?
Okay,
Works for me. Melissa, could you do me a favor and email Dr. Vieira? That year in review one, you have that, correct?
Let me take a look for it.
Okay. So I apologize. We have a lot of data that we had gotten and we had collected. Actually, first, let me start off by saying, hi, I'm Beth from the CPAC. I'm joined with Karen Davis, who is our treasurer, and Melissa Whitkiss, who is our secretary. We serve on the board for the CPAC. We've had the pleasure of doing that for the past, what, 5.5 years, ladies? That's kind of where we're at now. And we really thank the school committee for giving us the time to kind of present what we found from our annual school survey. So we send out a survey. We started last year offering a survey to all special education families, whether the children has a 504 plan or whether they have an IEP plan. We wanted to kind of take a look at all kinds of areas of special education, the services and things like that, and just see where we can support the district and support the families in being able to just offer the best services we can to the children. We got roughly about 16% of the total population responded to our survey this year. It was like around 15 last year, so we were consistent. Talking to other CPACs in the Commonwealth, we actually got more of a response than most people get. They usually get maybe 4 or 5 families that will actually respond to the survey. So we're just really grateful to the Douglas families that took the time to do the surveys. That being said, this year, if you look on the screen, the border in the green is the 2022 responses. The border in the blue is the 2021. So we just wanted to see what kind of difference in responses we were getting. It was nice this year. We actually got some children on 504s, their families responding to us. So that was great. Can you please scroll it up? Thank you. So then we wanted to know where are they coming from. The majority both years of the survey respondents we got was in the elementary school. Kind of expected. It is our largest building. Our primary school is definitely an area that we can do some outreach and recruitment for next year. And we have some plans in place for that. We can go down, Dr. Vieira. This is a lot of colors and I do apologize. Looking at this from last year to this year, overall, kind of pulling it apart and dissecting it a little bit, overall, the families did feel like there was
I'm sorry,
communication.
Dr. Vieira, I sent you the PowerPoint that she's looking for.
sorry, I'm hearing a voice. Is that Scott?
I think it was, Paul.
Scott, is that you? Okay, I just got the PowerPoint sent. All right.
Basically, if it's hard to break all this down. We were able to kind of dissect it and go through it.
Yeah, I sent you the right video. I mean, right PowerPoint. I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
You're fine, Scott, no problem.
Thank you.
Basically, there was a disconnect between what families felt they were getting from an admin level back with them and an admin level to the teachers versus a direct, the communication between the teachers and the families. That what we were hearing is that was pretty good, but that there was some improvement that needed to be done on some of the other levels. And can you please scroll? We wanted to just know, what do they want to know about? Very consistent from last year to this year. Academic progress is number 1, social progress is number 2, and then other things kind of fell in. If you scroll down further, we wanted to know how to communicate with parents. I think that we all struggle with, what is too much communication? What is not enough communication? You have the parents and the families that want to know everything that's going on in the schools, and then you have the families that are like, just tell me when I have to show up. You have to try to find your balance in the middle of those things. So, sending flyers home in the backpack is not an effective way to communicate with families, we have learned. So we email. It's a lot easier on us, and we can keep going. This one, I was a little bit, it helped me, I think we felt a little bit better about this one, even though it went down a little bit from last year. I feel I have an equally heard voice during team meetings, 0 being not at all, or 1 being not at all, 5 being I'm heard. I think overall, considering what we went through with a whole different admin change, a whole different style change, I think, our families felt extremely heard last year, and a little more than half of them felt heard this year. I think we can do better next year. I think we can work to improve that next year. However, I think we were able to identify, we were able to split up the different schools. So we were really able to identify, and we can share with Kim more exactly what buildings things were occurring in based on our survey. And if we go down to the next one, this was pretty consistent, right? That families felt that they knew their child's rights, the laws and the procedures of special education. This one makes, I think, from a CPAC perspective, this is extremely helpful to us because it lets us know where we need to build on knowledge with our families and with workshops. If you scroll further down, Paul, we did take some hits in timeliness of getting our notes and our meeting note paperwork and things like that done in a timely fashion. We can, again, we have not had a chance to talk with Dr. Merrick this year, but this will all be stuff that we will share with her more as well. Next, I feel that my child services are delivered as outlined in their IEP and delivered as agreed upon. Over 68% of our families feel that that is what's happening. And that was what was consistent with last year. Which I think tells us that we've been able to teach them what to look for on the IEP. The team chairs have been able to talk to them about what's on there, and they feel confident that that's what will happen based on the IEP will happen. If you could go down to the next one. Does anybody have any questions about anything? You can just unmute and stop me at any time. I feel that I understand the ways in which my child services are delivered and how they look both inside and outside of the classroom. I feel like this is an area that we did okay in. 64% of the population understands what their students' school services look like. That I think by next year, I would like to get up to at least 80. I think that we can really show what is going on in our programs and how they're, what we're doing with them. I think families deserve to know what their child's education looks like inside the classroom. And I definitely think we have some ideas to get that up for next year. And if you scroll, this one, roughly what, 77% of our population feels that their IEP services are delivered by a qualified and knowledgeable and compassionate staff. I think that speaks volumes to the things that our teachers and our staffs are doing in the buildings. You can have the best curriculum, you can have the best whatever in the world, but if you don't have somebody that cares about the kids, your program isn't as effective. So we really appreciate the staff for that one. The next one, you know, this was a tough year. And I feel that my child is making effective progress in their IEP goals. More than half of our population didn't feel like they were. And that's concerning. I think that's extremely concerning. Yes, we had a lot of staffing challenges. Yes, we had a lot of different things happen. But our general education kids we saw were making progress. So we really need to make sure that everyone is feeling like their children are making progress. We added another question, the one following this one at the request of Tara and Neely, we had put this one in, and we thought it was important. If you do not feel your child is making effective progress, do you feel the team is making a good faith effort in your child making progress? Some children progress at a different rate, right? This one was pretty similar. It did drop from last year. Again, I think it goes back to relationships with the staff, the admin, the teams, and understanding everybody's roles and responsibilities and kind of how we're working through things. If you go down, another one, Paul, this one, I'm really happy to see that there was an increase, not as much of a decrease in, as kind of I thought might be. Do you feel that your child's accommodations and modifications are being consistently implemented in their IEP? That should be all the time, like the goal, right? That should be 100% of the time. Families and students should feel like their IEP modifications and accommodations are being implemented in their classrooms. So I think that's an area that we can work on for next year, and understanding what accommodations, what accommodations children need and why, and how we can implement it and how we can see that. But I think that that's a really important one. If we're not meeting their accommodations and their modifications, then we're missing the boat and we're not following the blueprint. So this one was really neat. So a lot with the change in admin this year, we did not have this question last year, and there was a lot of concern. We were bringing on a new director, a new special ed coordinator, a new team chair, and frequently the CPAC have lots of contact with families this year that we typically wouldn't have had in the past, where it was admin's not listening, admin doesn't understand, admin doesn't know my child. And kind of, okay, so what is admin, right? Who are they talking about, and how can we help these, how can we help people? So what was really interesting is when you split this off, the child's principal one was pretty much a quarter down each building. Everybody really felt the same way about their principals, which was really cool. So roughly, I don't have my notes in here. Roughly 65% feel that their principal is supportive. And I think we made a lot of shifts this year in terms of having the principals have more of a responsibility of their programs, all of their programs, whether they were special education or not. So this tells me that families feel like their child's principal knows their child and is approachable. The special ed administrative team is knowledgeable. There was, the middle and the high school had pretty strong scores. The elementary and primary, it was definitely an area of weakness in terms of what families felt that was going on with the special ed coordinator. Again, we have specific information that we can share with Kim, families that actually offered a lot of specific feedback in our comment section. So we can definitely talk about that with you, Kim, when you see it. And Paul, so we wanted to know kind of what is the family's perspective on the superintendent. 34% didn't have a thought about it. And then, 25, 14%. So together, they felt that Paul was supportive. I think it's really important, as much as Dr. Merrick is the director of special education, whether you're a special education student or a general education student, you're a Douglas Public School student. And I think it's really important that this year, Paul is everybody's superintendent. And I think that making sure that children and families know that he is a supporter of them and their programs and making things happen for them, I think that's an area that really working on a shared vision between Kim and Paul and how the district goals and the special ed goals align together, because they ultimately should be the same thing. This one is an area that did better than what we kind of expected. I feel my child is able to participate in meaningful extracurricular activities that typical peers have access to. We took a big hit after COVID as a district, and not only us, but a lot of people. We lost unified sports. We lost teen night out. It's a little bit easier when they're in elementary school and middle school because we have, you know, the enrichment programs and things like that that children can access with their IEP supports. Once you get into high school, not that they can't access those things, but that gap is a little bit wider and it's a little bit more difficult for them to access. So really looking, I know we had budgeted money for unified sports, and really excited to get some of those programs up and started. Looking to see if we can get back into teen night out and really even try to put some of, you know, I think families will say what you'll see further down, they were really interested in unified sports. I personally don't think a family has a preference whether it is the unified sports the way that we typically think of it, or if we offered an enrichment class, it was an adaptive P that they could take all year and have access to. You know, I think there's many ways that we can incorporate what they need without, you know, creating a whole new wheel somewhere else. If you could scroll down again, because I did that twice. So this is kind of what our families were looking for. As you can see, a lot of them want the unified sports at the elementary school. Art classes, music, Tigers United, the Best Buddies program that the middle school did with the elementary school this year, they did an amazing job. And the kids that were in Best Buddies, they planned all the activities for their peers. And they went and they got the materials and they did all of it, all on their own with Mrs. Martinson. So really looking to expand that next year. And if you want to scroll, Paul, you should almost be done. So this was a new question this year because transportation had come up a few times with different people. It's funny, the comments that we got of the families that utilize specialized transportation, all of their bus drivers, all of their monitors, and all felt their child was safe. So Telestone does such an amazing job with our kids and, you know, just taking such good care of them. So that was really good to see, but we wanted to kind of get a little bit of a baseline on it. I did not have any out of district families participate in the survey, so I don't know, you know, Vanpool, Marks Transport, all those different vendors. I don't have an idea of that one. And then if you just scroll, Paul, the rest of these are just more or less for us as a CPAC to decide, you know, do you even know what the CPAC is? 6% didn't. So we need to work with our new special education administrators this year to kind of see what we can do for recruitment. We have some ideas of different events we can attend, but you know, when parents are attending an event, parents are attending an event. They don't want to talk to somebody, they want to attend their event. So trying to make that balance happen. You know, and you can keep scrolling, Paul, the rest of these are pretty much just for us. The majority of families don't attend special education, CPAC meetings. So one of the things that we've gone back and forth on is, you know, we don't want to videotape our CPAC meetings because you want to be able to have a place that you can safely talk about what you need to talk about and not worry about it being on YouTube. But we also need to be able to have the families understand the things that are happening and the things that we're doing, and to know that they're not alone and that there's people there. So Mrs. Wickus very, very generously offered to create a template for us that we can actually kind of put our meeting notes in a more user-friendly way, so we can put on the website, and really just utilize the resources that we already have as a district, but being able to put them up there. So I'm all done with that PowerPoint, Paul. And just a real quick kind of what did we do this year? We hosted a basic rights workshop, and we hosted Douglas, Uxbridge, and Northbridge families. Tara put it on for them. We had an effective communication workshop from the Federation of Children with Special Needs. We also, I was really excited for this one. Nancy Dugan is a national literacy advocate and expert. And she was gracious enough to do her amazing The Science of Reading and Effective Advocacy seminar with us. And she liked our families and she liked our district so much that she is setting up a pilot program for us, where she will facilitate a group for our families to be able to, you know, bounce questions with her off of different reading programs, different goals, different things that we can do. She had tons of just simple ideas that families can use, and she's a wealth of knowledge. So we were really lucky that we had her. We also got to have the Federation for Children with Special Needs. They have a vision of community workshop. So it's 40 different workshops within one thing. And it was really cool this year because it was virtual. So we had access to it for 90 days and people were able to view their workshops at any time. We sent one staff member, we sent one parent, and we also sent a student to be able to see the different workshops. Unfortunately, we did have other workshops planned this year. We ran into a lot of problems due to staff contract negotiations where people would schedule things with us and then wouldn't come because of different things. Hopefully we can work on that for next year. We spent a lot of time talking with Tara and Sarah last year. We would meet every month, twice a month. So we would do our CPAC meeting and then we would have a board meeting and just talk about different things. We created the Central Massachusetts CPAC Collaborative, where we work with another 15 or 16 different districts. And just able, you know, especially right now where so many of our workshops are virtual, we're able to set, you know, I'm able to say, okay, I'm doing bullying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You guys can come, and then they'll invite us to different things so that our families have access to more information. We also do a lot of just bouncing things off of and things like that. We also developed a really great relationship with Open Sky, which is the former Alternatives. They have opened their Blackstone Valley Family Support Center here in Whitensville. We had a lot of concerns from families about transitions after 18, transitions after high school, things like that. So we really wanted to partner with people that could help us. And they've been fantastic. They have the Department of Disability Services contract. So they have some money. They're able to let us, you know, do different things with. We didn't have the staffing, but they wanted us to have, they were offering transportation to bring our students into their facility for field trips to see what there was offered for post-grad, to see what there was. so they're a really great resource. I think they're going to continue to be a resource that we use. They service children and families with autism and with whether you have and if you have DDS, they do different activities. But they service children as young as 3 up until adulthood. So they're a great contact for us. We were a little light on funding this year, but we did fund the Special Olympics t-shirts, and we did some work with the kindness cart. And just in terms of support, we're really working to work with Nancy Dugan to make an advocacy literacy group for our district and for families. So that's what we did this year. Does anybody have any questions? I feel like I just went, whoo. Melissa and Karen, do you have anything I forgot?
I think you did a fantastic job as usual. Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you, ladies. And I just think really going forward, and like I said, Kim, I know you were very gracious to say, I will meet with you on our first week, but we will be meeting with Kim after extended school year and kind of lay out our plans for the year. So that's all I have tonight.
And that is all I have for my report. We have a lengthy consent agenda tonight.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Karen, for coming to our meeting and presenting to us. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
So now we're moving on to the school committee and subcommittee reports and onto accounts payable report.
That's me again. Okay. So I signed warrant 55 SCH22. There was a total of 6 batches in totaling $140,809.28. I signed warrant 1 SCH23, 1 batch, total $1,815. Warrant 54 SCH22, a total of 5 batches for a total dollar amount of $41,199.20. I signed warrant 53 SCH22, 8 batches and a total of $179,227.10. Warrant 51 SCH22, and there was a total of 13 for a dollar amount of $61,283.74. And I also signed warrant 52 SCH22, and there was 13 batches for a warrant total of $457,595.73. And there was no irregularities.
Thank you.
Now you can
Moving-
take a deep breath, Beth.
Now we're moving on to the consent agenda and the school committee meetings. We're gonna go through and approve those. And then I know, Paul, you wanted to, you talked to the town clerk this afternoon. Do you want to share with the committee what you found?
Sure, and Courtney can help chime in. So when we get down to the executive session minutes, we're going to hold 3 of them for a future date. So the November 2nd, 2021, we're going to put on hold. The November 9th, 2021, we're going to put on hold. And the December 8th, 2021, we're going to put on hold. I know it's going to be time consuming, but we're going to approve these one at a time. And we also spoke with the town clerk, and what she told us is that because a lot of these happened prior to some of the members being on the school committee, there was a question as to whether or not they could or could not vote on it. But the town clerk said that it is possible for members who were not present at the executive session to still approve the minutes. Courtney, did I miss anything?
Anya, just want to make sure that they're aware too, that the town clerk got that from the Attorney General's office. That there is no prohibition of against members voting if they were not on the board at the time for any particular meeting minutes. She
But
has a quicker inline to get an answer. It was going to take me 48 hours.
Yeah.
So, and we work very well together. I called Chris and she's always been great in helping me out.
But they could also abstain too if they really
Could
did,
also abstain as well, correct?
to make sure everybody understands
Mhm.
when we get to the. So we're gonna start with the April 6th, 2022 school committee meeting minutes. If nobody has any issues, I'd be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the April 6, 2022 meeting minutes.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by,
I'll second.
second by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next meeting minutes is from May 18th, 2022, school committee meeting. If nobody has any issues, I'd be looking for someone to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the May 18th, 2022 school committee meeting minutes.
Monique made the motion, seconded by
I'll second. Teresa.
Teresa, second by Teresa. I would need a roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you. Now moving on to June 1st, 2022, school committee meetings.
I
No-
move-
Okay.
Go ahead, Teresa.
I move to approve the June 1st, 2022 meeting minutes.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by,
Second.
was that Monique? Or
Monique, yes.
Sorry, seconded by Monique. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next one is the June 15th, 2022 school committee meeting.
On that one, I'm listed as both present and absent, and I was absent, so that would need to be corrected.
Do you want us to hold it, Courtney, or to accept the changes as noted?
We can certainly accept the changes as noted, as long as we're sure whether or not she was present or absent. Absent, that's fine.
It was
I was
absent.
absent, yeah. I move to accept the June 15th, 2022 meeting minutes as corrected.
Second.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Beth.
Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. All right, now moving into the executive session meeting minute notes. We're gonna start. You want to start with the going all the way back, Courtney, to January 8th of 2020, or how my pile is set up with the current?
I'm sorry, you're gonna start from the beginning on 1/8/2020, correct?
Just because it's how my notes are put together. So
Packets are set up the other way, Courtney.
that's why.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, that's fine. We can go the other way. Yep,
Follow your packet.
yep.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to the executive session, school committee executive session meeting minutes from April 20th, 2022.
I make a motion to approve the executive session meeting notes from April 20th, 2022.
Beth made the motion. I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Second by Monique. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next set is the school committee executive session meeting minutes from April 11th, 2022.
I move to approve the executive session meeting minutes from April 11th, 2022.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by
I'll second Teresa.
Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee executive session meeting minutes from March 16th, 2022.
I move to approve the March 16th, 2022 executive session school committee meeting minutes.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by
I'll second.
Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee executive session meeting minutes from March 2nd, 2022.
I move to approve the March 2nd, 2022 executive session meeting minutes.
Teresa Brooks, second.
Motion made by Monique, seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Moving on to the school committee executive session meeting minutes from January 19th, 2022. Be looking for a motion.
I move to accept the January 19th, 2022 executive session minutes.
Second.
Motion Teresa and seconded by Monique. All those in, roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. And we're holding on the next three sets. We're gonna hold from December 8th.
Correct.
November 9th, 2021, and November 4th of 2021, so that we're gonna skip down to November 2nd, 2021.
We're
Heather,
holding
was-
November 2nd.
We're holding November 2nd too as well. So it's October 6th is what we're going to look at.
The 4th we should be able to do.
Yeah,
November 4th.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
We can approve, yes, we can look for the approval for November 4th.
I move to approve November 4th, 2021 executive session meeting minutes.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Second.
Beth. All those in favor? Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee executive session meeting minutes from October 6th of 2021. I'd be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the October 6th, 2021 executive session meeting minutes.
Teresa
Motion.
Brooks, second.
But motion made by Monique, seconded by
Aye.
Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Moving right along to the next batch is a school committee executive session meeting minutes from September 15th of 2021.
I move to approve school committee executive session meeting minutes from September 15th, 2001.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by
Teresa Brooks,
Teresa, seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth, you're on mute.
Doesn't work that way. Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Moving on to school committee executive session meeting minutes from August 24th, 2021.
I move to accept the August 24th, 2021 executive session minutes.
Made by Teresa, seconded by
Excuse me, I just want to, there is an amendment that needs to be made on that one.
What's
On, topic number 1. It says DTA contract continues in negotiations, currently proposed by DTA is 6 to 7% wage increase for, it just should say for, over 3 years.
Instead of 30 years, yes.
Yeah, so for, yep, 3 years.
So I move to accept the August 24th, 2021 executive session minutes with the amendment of a 6 to 7 wage increase over 3 years, not 30.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Beth. Can I do a roll call vote, please?
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Did we lose Monique?
No, I'm rereading that again. Monique Salvatore.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you. Next is the school committee executive session meeting minutes from June 16th, 2021.
Make a motion to approve school committee executive session meeting notes from June 6, 2021.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by
Teresa Brooks, second.
Teresa Brooks. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvatore, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee executive session meeting minutes from April 27th, 2021.
I move to accept the April 27th, 2021 executive session minutes.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
I'll second.
Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvatore abstain.
Heather Moore and I. Next is school committee executive session meeting minutes from April 7th, 2021. I'll be looking for a motion.
So I move to accept the executive session meeting minutes, April 7th, 2021.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Second.
Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvatore abstain.
Heather Moore and I. Next one is March 1st, the school committee executive session meeting minutes from March 1st, 2021.
I move to approve the school committee executive session meeting minutes from March 1st, 2021.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvatore abstain.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee executive session meeting minutes from January 20th, 2021.
I move to accept the January 20th, 2021 executive session meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Teresa, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvatore abstain.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee executive session meeting minutes dated November 18th, 2020.
I move to accept the school committee executive session meeting minutes from November 18th, 2020.
Second.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvatore abstain.
Heather Moore and I. Next, the school committee executive session meeting minutes dated June 10th, 2020.
I move to accept the June 10th, 2020 executive session meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Beth. Roll call. vote.
Beth Bertram, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis abstain.
Heather Moore and I.
We're
School
getting
committee,
there.
getting there. Committee executive session meeting minutes dated June 1st, 2020.
I make a motion to accept school committee executive session meeting minutes, June 1st, 2020.
Second,
Motion made by Beth, seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bertram, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis abstain.
Heather Moore and I. School committee executive session meeting minutes dated April 3rd, 2020.
I move to accept the executive session meeting minutes, April 3rd, 2020.
I second.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bertram, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis abstain.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee executive session meeting minutes dated April 1st, 2020.
I move to accept school committee executive session meeting minutes from April 1st, 2020.
Second,
Motion made by Beth, seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bertram, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis abstain.
Heather Moore and I. I do not have in my packet the March 3rd, 2020. I go right to a January 8th, 2020.
So does mine.
I have that as well.
I do not have the March 3rd of 2020 in my executive session meeting minutes. I do not have that in my packet.
I'm wondering, because if you look in here on the agenda, it says April 1st, 2020. And then there's an April 30th in the packet. There's an April 1st and an April 30th in the packet.
I have an April 3rd and an
I-
April 1st. I do not see Courtney in my packet.
Yeah, I don't know then.
I have a
April
first and a third.
It might be the typo because it's a 4-3 versus.
Yeah,
a
that's what I'm wondering. Yeah,
So we can just put a query out for that, Courtney, just to make sure we did it correctly, because the last one I have now is the January 8th of 2020.
mhm.
Next session, school committee meeting notes.
Yep, Lauren has a list of all the dates.
We'll look at that tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll look at that. Yep.
I'd be
We
looking
do
for,
have the January 8th one.
yep, I'd be looking for a
Mhm.
motion.
Move to approve January 8th executive session minutes, January 8th, 2020.
Second.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Beth. All those in roll call vote, please. Sorry, not.
Beth Bertram, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis abstain.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay.
All right, that takes care of all the executive session with we're asking Courtney to look with Lauren to figure out if there's a mistypo, we got all of them or not. So I do
Mhm.
appreciate these
Yep.
patients get through
Yep.
that. Now
Will
we're gonna
do.
go through, thank you. We're gonna go the policy subcommittee meeting minutes. And we're gonna start with the September 23rd, 2021 meeting minutes. I'd be looking for a motion.
I move to accept the school committee policy subcommittee meeting minutes for September 23rd, 2021.
I second,
Motion made by Beth, seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bertram, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee policy subcommittee meeting minutes dated September 23rd, 2021.
I move to accept the policy subcommittee September 23rd, 2021 meeting minutes.
Motion seconded by,
That's a duplicate?
That's
Yeah.
a duplicate. That's a duplicate. Yeah. In other words, it's in your packet twice.
We just approved it.
just
Yeah, we
approved
just approved it. Yep, so we can move on to the next one.
The
September
30th.
30th,
September 30th, yep.
September 30th, 2021, the school committee policy subcommittee meeting minutes.
Try this again. I move to approve the school committee policy subcommittee minutes for September 30th, 2021.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Second.
Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Nick Salvas, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee policy subcommittee minutes dated June 18th, 2022.
January 18th,
January 18th, yep.
I move to approve the policy subcommittee minutes, January 18th, 2022.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by,
Yeah.
was that Monique?
Yes, sorry.
Sorry, seconded by Monique. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvas, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next, school committee policy subcommittee meeting minutes dated February 11th, 2022.
I move to approve the policy subcommittee meeting minutes for February 11th, 2022.
Second.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvas, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next is the school committee policy subcommittee meeting minutes dated June 8th, 2022.
I move to approve the school committee policy subcommittee meeting minutes, June 8th, 2022.
Second.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvas, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Next is a school committee policy subcommittee minutes dated June 15th, 2022.
I move to approve the June 15th, 2022 policy subcommittee minutes.
I'll second.
Motion, sorry. Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvas, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Now we go into some of these first policy readings that we have for Dr. Vera. You can explain these to us?
Absolutely. So the first two policies come are the medication policy and the administration of over-the-counter medication. Want to thank Kathy Campbell for taking a look at these, our lead nurse, and putting this together for us. So looking at the first policy, JLCD medication policy, we'll go through this paragraph by paragraph for the first reading. First paragraph is basically an update of what we used to have. We've added a couple of things to it, talking about the fact that we're following the Mass Department of Public Health manuals and their recommendations. And then we're adding the last paragraph, which is that the lead nurse and the physician will supervise the administration of the program. So we just made a few changes to that first paragraph. The second paragraph is new, and it speaks to the collaboration between parents and guardians and the school nurse in developing that medication administration plan. The third section speaks to meds that students can administer to themselves. Numbers 1, 2, and 3 were there previously, but have been updated. And in number 4, we added life-threatening allergies, the ability to possess an EpiPen. Number 4 is new and speaks to alternative therapies such as homeopathic, herbal, and nutrition supplements and what needs to be done. Number 5 is medication errors, and it just speaks to the fact that we will inform parents if there are any issues. And number 6 is also new, and it says that in conjunction with the school physician and the school nurse leader, we will stock Narcan nasal naloxone, and trained nurses, medical personnel, and first responders may administer nasal naloxone to individuals who are experiencing a life-threatening opiate overdose in a school setting. So that's our medication policy. It just needed some updating. It hadn't been updated in a few years. So we took a look at it and just wanted to make sure that it was current. Any questions on JLCD? Our second policy is JLCD, our administration of over-the-counter medications. And the first paragraph, the rationale, is basically the same. What we did at the very end, where it says this includes the following, we removed the marketing brand name of the medication where we had Advil or Tylenol or Tums, and we just gave it its medical name. So that allows for some greater flexibility. And then at the very end, we added the line about standing orders will be kept in the nurse's office. Any questions on that policy? And again, I think we met 3 or 4 times. You just approved the minutes. Monique was part of that. Courtney was with me too. So we did a lot of work looking at this. And then the final policy is our wellness policy. And this is about a year and a half in the making. Wellness, such an important topic. We had a wellness committee that met 3-4 times this year, met a couple times last year. So we worked with them putting it together, and then our policy subcommittee. So it starts with a general statement, and it's just updated the language that we had in our previous policy. There's a lot of new things we added. We added the wellness committee, why we have it, and what the purpose of it is. We added the committee functions to it, which was important to outline that piece of it. We added some subtopics. We talked about nutrition promotion. That's new to the wellness policy. Nutrition education is also new to the wellness policy. Over on the next page, emotional well-being was added, as was other school-based activities to promote student wellness. And then everything else was just some minor edits, tweaks, and changes that we had to make to the document. But this is our wellness policy that after hopefully our 3rd reading, along with the other ones, can be implemented. Any questions on those policies?
I just have one thought. I think this is really great.
On
How
which
come-
policy, Beth?
I'm sorry, on the wellness policy. I apologize. We include school nurses, school nutrition, physical activity staff, community agencies.
Which section of the policy?
Where it says the wellness committee shall include at a minimum, and it tells
Okay.
the representatives.
Yep.
We don't have anybody from like our school counselors on any of this. Because where we have the section about emotional well-being later on in the policy, I just think it would be beneficial that we would have, at least one of our counselors on the committee.
It says at a minimum, so obviously we could do that, but it makes sense to add school council, so I'll add that change to it. It's a good point.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. I think now we go on to Courtney has a lengthy list ahead of us.
No, not lengthy, not too lengthy.
No, not too bad.
Okay, all righty. So first, we will take the updates to the student activity accounts, and this is for the middle school and the high school student activity funds and accounts. I did update it from the one that was presented for the July 20th meeting that we had to cancel. Because Mr. Romano had let me know there was one other club that he wanted to eliminate that had not had any activity in it for a number of years. And we're actually would be written up by the auditors. You really should only go 2 years. If there's no activity, they're looking for you to either resurrect it or eliminate it. Of course, understanding that during COVID, it was kind of difficult. So nothing was going on. So it's been a little bit difficult to try to figure out what to eliminate or not. So Mr. Romano is looking to eliminate the following clubs: Home Economics Club, current balance of $993.49. The Student Recognition Club, current balance of $202.99, and the International Club, current balance $233.17. Bob O'Brien is looking to eliminate the Junior National Honor Society with a current balance of $688.11. And I'm recommending that these balances be transferred to the respective Student Activity Fund principals account as of June 30th, 2022. And that can only be used for overall student activities. These funds shall be used for the benefit of the student body, and they cannot be used for anything for the academic day related to school day curriculum, just for informational purposes. Also, the name of the former Best Buddies Club was changed to Tigers United. The high school was not using any of the Best Buddies resources. The fee charged to the students for belonging to the Best Buddies was $350, and they received no benefit from this or they didn't use their resources either. So the original intent of the club remains exactly the same, to promote peer relationships and activities between the regular education and special education students, but they just made that name change. So I didn't know if anyone had any questions regarding any of these changes. Yes, Heather?
So I'm trying to wrap my head around the Junior National Honor Society program, why we're eliminating that when they have such a good program up at the high school. And if we're trying to retain the students, the
Mhm.
more things that they can have on their records. And I get with COVID and everything else, but I don't understand why we're getting rid of that.
Yeah. It's my understanding there wasn't any activity going on with it.
Heather, I see your point. The past.
There was a
few years-
request of the
Yeah.
middle school principal.
Yeah, the past few years, we haven't had the bandwidth to do it. I would agree with you that
Mhm.
maybe it might make sense to, with what we're trying to do, try to resurrect that.
And along those lines too, I'm wondering, the Student Recognition Club, $200. That seems like an easy amount of money to spend to recognize students. I'm curious why that's still left over.
Okay, the reason why is the only thing I'm trying to remember this, if I get this correctly, it hasn't been used in years. It was only used for, it was one activity that they now pay for that really has to do with during the academic day. So that's why they haven't used it in a number of years.
Could we use it for like PBS, I always mess it up, PBIS?
Yeah,
Oh, no, this is even before that. This is even before that.
But I mean, could we take that money and use it for some?
Well, you can't see how can I explain it? Some of these clubs go way, way back, and sometimes the original reason that they were established may not have been
In line with what you can do.
Thank you. So that's why they stopped using it. It's just been sitting there. So you're not allowed, because when the auditors come in and do the audit, which they're actually working on this audit right now, for FY21, but if they see a club that has no activity for several years, they look for it to actually be closed, number one. And you have to make sure that the intent is for student activities like after school. It's not supposed to have anything to do with curriculum or academics or anything like that. Yeah.
I get you,
Yeah.
but the Junior National,
Oh, no,
And-
I'm only talking about the Student Recognition
Yeah,
Club at the high school. Yeah.
so, I mean,
Yeah. And
I think-
sometimes the students that they actually look to establish a club. And then what happens is this is more at the high school
When
than
they
middle
move-
school. Then they're not interested in doing anymore. You can't just let the funds sit there.
Yep.
And that's what happens often at the high school as well.
Can we?
I'd like to see people try to use this money. That's what I would like to see.
Oh, no, we're going to be transferring it into as I stated, with the funds are going to be, and that's allowed to happen, are going to be transferred into the principal's account that can be used for overall student activities, benefiting the student body. That's what the funds can be used for.
So
Well,
you
I agree with
divided by
Heather.
or the two buildings, sorry, Monique, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. That's okay.
You would divide it, the $200 between the middle school and the high school? Is that how you would do it?
Oh, no, you can never mix schools.
Oh,
Okay, so let me back up. So student activity funds are extremely compliance oriented. Okay, so they are audited. The high school has to be audited every year, and that's mostly because of the Disney trip, because the amount of the Disney trip.
yeah.
But at least every 3 years by a CPA auditor. And there's also internal audits that are done as well. But for each club that is approved, it has to be approved by the school committee. It has to be for exactly the reasons for which it was approved and everything in line with that. And what happens is if that can't happen, you can't just turn it into something else.
So the
You have to
student-
eliminate it. You could certainly start a new club, but it can't have anything to do with the one that's being, you can't mix the two things. So one of the things that you are allowed to do is transfer into what's called the principal's account, but it can
So it would all
only
go to
be
the middle
used.
school principal then? So he would have, it would all.
Oh,
go
no,
to
we're
the-
talking, right now, we're talking about the high school.
Okay.
Then the other one was a whole separate issue, but because it's sounding like you guys might not want to approve that. But as far as the high school one goes, or if you did approve the one for the middle school, either one, it would go to the principal's account, and the funds could only be used for the benefit of the student body and cannot be used for anything for the academic day related to school day curriculum, because that's not what student activity funds are allowed to be for. But I understand on the middle school one, it sounds like, you may want to, but just keep in mind that he's making that recommendation because there isn't anything going on. You can't use those monies for anything else except for exactly the Junior National Honor Society.
I'm gonna speak to Bob when, next week when he gets back to
Mhm.
talk about resurrecting the junior NHS.
Okay.
It takes a little bit of time to work through the national organization, to
Mhm.
get your charter back up and running, and then obviously to get an advisor. But when he gets back next week, I'll have that conversation with him.
Mhm.
I think it'd be good for our kids to have that.
So can we table the Junior National Honor Society until we kind of find out that information?
You can just not include that at all in your
Okay.
motion if you're okay with the high school,
Gotcha.
and just not include the middle school.
So for the high school, it'd be approximately, just quick add, $1,400 would kind of go on the general student activities fund for them. to
Oh, no.
use. Or whatever,
The principal's
yeah.
account.
The
Yeah,
principal's, I'm sorry, the principal's account.
yeah.
And he can't use it for anything curriculum related, just as after school, if there's something he can do.
Or something for the student body that's
as a-
not related to the academic day or curriculum, just student activities. Student activities only.
If they wanted to have a pizza party one day after school, they could do that with that money then.
As long as it was half hour after the school day.
Yeah.
I was gonna jump right on to talk about food
Nutrition.
requirements shortly. As long as it's half hour after the school day,
Gotcha.
Thank you.
or
Paul.
it's school
Or
approved.
approved by I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
or-
right? Okay.
Or cafeteria approved food, yes.
Yeah. Regulations.
Can they move this money to another student club? That
Well,
is operating?
it would take the vote of people who aren't there. In other words, that aren't even operating anymore to do that. So yes, one club could do, if you had one, that's a good question. If you had, say the class of 2023. And because that's an ongoing club, you have, they're operating all the time. They could certainly vote because they have the people to vote. They have a president, they have a treasurer and all that. They could vote to do that if they wanted to support something else. Or actually purchase something for something that they wanted to support, like the class of 23. But it's very, this in the school lunch program are two very highly compliance regulated things. Yep, very
Well,
specific.
If the principal had come to us and said, I want to move this money that's not being used right now to this very active, involved club, he couldn't do that. And we couldn't vote on it and approve it.
No, because it's not the principal's money to move. In other words, like the classes have a president and a treasurer and an advisor that advises them, of course, and people that are involved in it. They would be the ones doing it. The whole idea, part of the idea of student activity fund accounts, particularly at the high school, but also starting at the middle school, is to teach students, how to run things or how things operate, and how, you have kind of like a committee, for lack of better words. It's not actually a formal committee, but where you are making decisions and making it collectively. And there's a lot more to it that you're supposed to derive out of these student activity funds and accounts that they're learning, in addition to it being a student activity.
So basically, if 2020 was the last year the home economics club ran, those are the officers of 2020 would have to vote to say, yes, you can give our 900 some dollars to whatever the other club is, but we
Yep.
can't do it because they would have to.
Yep. And the only ones that have officers are the class accounts. All
Okay.
of the other accounts, they just have students that are interested
Okay.
in doing, as far as, a president and a treasurer, but typically that's how it operates.
So basically, we can either move it to the principal's account, and
Mhm.
we just need to do that because you can't have them on the books for over a couple of years.
Right. I mean, it'll get written up by the auditors. And just in the interest of full disclosure, obviously, as Paul indicated, COVID did mess up pretty much everything. So there were some that they did question in the other audit, the one before. And I did talk to Josh, and, I went back to the auditors and said, listen, this has been a really hard year for the principals. Nothing could happen. Nobody could go anywhere. So I want you to, he is going to try to resurrect these clubs. And I'd like, I'm going to give him another year. That's of course understandable. But they typically have a pretty good handle on what's going on. And usually the principal will have a pretty good handle on whether or not students are interested in actually doing anything going forward, because things change at the school as well.
Mhm.
So there is one actually that I probably will hear from the auditors. Because he first said he wanted to eliminate it, but then, changes in courses and things like the newspaper club. That's one we are going to try to push to resurrect that one again. And so I will hear from the auditors, but I will send them and say, listen, he's working very hard, this and that and the other thing. And, if they have a really good explanation, and give it like one more year sometimes, but it depends on how many years it's been on the books without activity too.
How many years have the 3 high school ones been on the books?
Oh God, on the books. Well, the International Club, I think it's fairly new. The other 2 have been on the books for a long, long time. But, again, I get the recommendation from the principal, because under Mass General Law, it's the principal that oversees the student activity funds and all that. But they have not had any activity at all. And the Student Recognition Club, what they were doing with the funds wasn't really a club, so. And like I said, the newspaper one, it's been there. It really hasn't had activity since COVID. He thought of canceling it, but due to some changes, as far as academics, he thought that would be really good to resurrect that again. So we're going to go forward and try that again.
How hard is it to reinstitute if we get rid of it? And the new principal, and a new principal comes in and says, I want to, we really need something like this.
Oh, no. Yeah, anything that you eliminate now, you're eliminating just that now. Okay. And again, there hasn't been activity for some time. Any new principal coming in, because remember, these are student activities. So the interest should be coming from the students, not really the principal. The interest comes from the students wanting to do things, because it is a student activity fund. Absolutely. I mean, students do that. They bring things that they have an interest in to the principal, and they discuss it. And if they see that there's an interest in it, but then you need to make sure that there really is a good interest, because there's a lot that goes into and is required by a student activity fund account. So you'd want to make sure that it's going to, work out, because you can't keep opening and closing accounts. That would not be good at all. That would be written up by the auditors. So, but no, there would be no problem at all with that.
So they could resurrect the club, but once we vote the money into the principal's account, it's in the principal's account. If you want
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So they could resurrect the club and have new fees and earn, get more money, but.
Or
the-
fundraising, yeah,
Yeah, the 993 that has gone and is in the principal's account now.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Any more discussion? So I'd be looking for a motion.
All right, so I will move to close the following student activity accounts and transfer the balances as of June 30th, 2022 to the principal's account in the student activity fund as of June 30th, 2022 at Douglas High School, the Home Economics Club, the International Club, and the Student Recognition Club. These funds shall be used for the benefit of the student body for student activities. And I also move to change the name of the former Best Buddies Club to the Tigers United Club as of June 30th, 2022.
Motion made, seconded by
Second by Monique.
Monique. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay. Now the next one. Okay, I'll have to change the motion a little bit. But what this is each year, the auditors look for the school committee to reaffirm the student activity accounts. So I do have a listing, that I prepare that I have attached here but I will make the change on my listing to not cross off we will keep the Junior National Honor Society Club at the middle school. And we will be eliminating the newest one that Mr. Romano asked me to eliminate, and that is student recognition. So with those changes, I would be looking for the school committee to reaffirm the student activity accounts listing for FY23.
Move to affirm the student activity accounts listing for FY23
As Courtney mentioned.
as Courtney stated
Yep.
and mentioned.
Yes. And this listing will also include the elimination of student activity fund accounts for middle school and high school and changing the name of the Douglas High School Best Buddies Club to Tigers United Club as of June 30th, 2022.
So moved.
So motion made by Teresa, second by
I'll second.
Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Moving on to the next thing is the 2022-2023 school lunch program fees.
And Raquel Hammond is with us this evening. She's our food service director. And she can speak to the agenda item summary, and she also attached for you the adjustment calculator. And that's required, that's been required for the last, I don't know how many years, a number of years, that they require you to go in and calculate to see if you need to, or rather must, adjust your pricing. Raquel?
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
So I'm here just to go over the school lunch prices recommended for next year. Basically, the background is that we're a USDA program. And, through our annual compliance, we have to do certain things to evaluate, our financials. And one of those being the price, the meal price equity. And so we use this price adjustment calculator to figure out where we stand. And for both last school year and this school year, it is shown on the meal price adjustment calculator that we are due for an increase. So the discussion analysis just basically outlines, the conclusion that we can do as a district to increase the meal prices at the high school, middle, and elementary to satisfy the meal price calculator to get at least the recommended amount, averaged throughout the schools. It's also recommended that the school breakfast be increased to $2, just based on the rising cost of food and supplies. Is just no longer affordable to keep it under $2. Also, adult meals, which do not receive any reimbursement from DESE or USDA, must be covered in full at the time of purchase. So it's also recommended that the adult meal price increase from $3.75 to $4 plus tax. And, overall, it's just recommended that the price increases, will help to maintain sufficient revenues for the school lunch program, to help us offset increases in food, labor, and supply chain issues. So, if the school committee is in agreement, the following motion is recommended for approval. The Douglas High School lunch price at $3.50. The Douglas Middle School lunch price at $3.50. The Douglas Elementary School lunch price $3.25. The Douglas Primary School $3. District-wide school breakfast $2, and adult meals at $4 plus tax. And then attached is the price adjustment calculator.
And we need to have this in place, assuming for now that, if that we're going back to the normal of charging for meals and the free and reduced applications and all of that, that has to be done each year. But there is a possibility that it may be free lunches, but we do not have anything from DESE yet. And so until we receive something from DESE, it has not happened yet. So
yeah, I mean,
far
in
as that
addition to
goes.
that, the breakfast and adult meals is for sure
right.
in need of an increase, as well as if students are buying second lunches or second breakfast, those
Right.
prices have to be definitely set in stone for us.
When was the last time we increased the prices?
Oh my
Do you
goodness.
roughly, Courtney, roughly, it's been a while, I would assume. It's
Yeah,
been a while
you know,
since
COVID, the whole
I mean,
COVID timeframe, it's been a few
Before
years.
COVID. It was before COVID.
It was before COVID, yeah.
I think given what the price of food is and the price
Mhm.
of gas is, I think that this is not bad at all. I think,
And also, I just want to mention that, regardless if the state decides to cover, the gap in free and reduced price
Mhm.
meals, it's still encouraged for families to fill out the application.
Yes.
And also just to share awareness that if they're on any state or federal assistance programs, that they'll automatically qualify for free meals. So, just a public service announcement to
Yes.
don't,
good one.
Don't hesitate from filling out that application because, as we saw in last school year, it resulted in PEBT benefits anytime somebody was absent for, COVID-related reasons, or the summer PEBT for meals, to help families pay for meals while school's out.
Any further questions from anybody on the school committee? To Rachel? You were Cal, sorry. If there are none, looking for a motion,
I move to approve the fees for the 2022-2023 school year as follows. Douglas High School up to $3.50. Douglas Middle School, $3.50. Douglas Elementary School, $3.25. Douglas Primary School, $3. District-wide school breakfast up to $2. And adult meals up to $4 plus tax.
I second.
motion made by Monique, seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salas, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you, Raquel, for coming.
You're welcome. Have a good
Thank
night,
you,
everyone.
Raquel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, to job descriptions.
Before Courtney says anything, I just want to again come out and thank her for her work on these job descriptions. I think we're nearing the end of our list. we're
Getting there,
we're getting there.
getting
So
there.
again,
It's a
and-
lot of jobs.
it's a lot of jobs. So as you can see from these job descriptions, she's creating them from scratch. She's culling them from different resources. She's putting them together, but then she's sending them out to people to look at and to review. So, you know,
Yeah,
in between
absolutely.
all of her 10,000 tasks and jobs, she's creating this. So I know I said it the last time, but thank you, Courtney, for this. It's not easy to do and put together, and I just wanted to recognize your efforts in this. So now you
Thank
can do your spiel about the two
Yeah.
different jobs.
So we have the administrative assistant to the building principal. That's the first job description. And again, these were looked at by the principals and okayed by all 4 of them.
Any questions for Courtney?
My only question is, do we need to change on the bottom where it says the draft to July 27th? I know it's a little one. We might.
Oh,
need
no,
to-
no, because a lot of these say
Okay,
July 20. That's
Just wanted to
fine.
make sure.
Yep, no, because actually when you, just so that you do know, because it's a good question, Teresa. So when you approve these, I put at the bottom, approved by school committee,
Right.
and I will put July 27th, 2022. Okay? Yeah. No, thank you.
Thank you.
So if there's no further question, I'd be looking for some motions.
I move to approve the administrative assistant building principal job description as described.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
And by Monique?
Monique. Roll call vote, please.
Sorry, Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Falvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Okay, the next job description is for the administrative assistant to the director of special education and student support services.
Okay, for this one, as we all know, Tara was extremely busy, because she actually worked on the para and ABA one. This one, I got 5 or 6 from different places. And I did cull it together and then sent it to her. And she did take a look at it. And I don't remember what changes she made, but she did take a look at it, and this was the final that we came up with. And I don't recall if she sent it also to Kim as well. Because she had signed, but she hadn't started yet.
Do we want to hold and have Kim review it before we put this into effect?
I have a question for you on number 10 of essential duties, Courtney.
Mhm.
Complete clerical tasks associated with Medicaid claim billing. Is that the court? That's not like the direct billing for like the PT and OT services. We stopped doing all that stuff, correct?
No, this is it's called the business pact that we're required to get information for. Jean Lovett does part of it. I do part of it. Lois does part of it.
We do it kind of quarterly or whatever it is, not the.
Yes,
not
it's called the business
green
packet,
sheets that
and
we used to do.
yeah,
and-
they need all kinds of different information on salaries and transportation and special ed tuitions, employee payroll and benefits from the town. And so the 3 of us basically, put it together and then I submit it.
Okay, so nothing like the direct billing reimbursement or anything like that. We don't do that anymore.
I have a question for number 6 under the essential duties. For the IEP team meetings, do they do both for the annual and for the 3-year reevals?
Well, again, these are job descriptions are supposed to be more general, not too specific. So it just says schedule IEP team meetings, because again, it's up to the director of student support services to special education, student support services, sorry. That's why we have at the end of all of them, other duties or special projects as assigned. So you don't want to be too specific. So it's just schedule IEP meeting, team meetings, because it could be 10, it could be 50, it could be for annuals, it could be for quarterly, it could be, whatever is required. If you get too specific, then you put yourself in a corner. So.
Sorry, just to piggyback off of Teresa's question, my concern with that is is a huge part of the coordinator's job, is the scheduling of all those meetings and things like that.
Mhm.
should we, I would almost feel better if we held off and talked to Kim and just got her maybe to, I don't know if wording it as needed or just getting a little bit of clarification, because I agree, like with, like what Teresa's saying, typically that's not what it's done. I know that it's done in some cases, sometimes Lois does have to schedule them.
Right.
That's just, it could make a nightmare for that office.
Oh, no, it doesn't mean that she schedules all of them, and we will be working on the sped coordinator one is coming up next. I wish we had already been able to do it, but with the change and transition, I'm going to send out a template to Kim, and she'll be working on that. But again, say if the coordinator's out. Right, I mean, it's not to mean that every single thing is done. It just, you may be doing this, or this is an important thing that must be done. You don't want to have an 8-page job description, but if something's very important, you want to put it in, even if you only do it 3 times a year. But if it's extremely important to the running of an office, you need to make a decision about having it in there just so that it's covered.
And
By the
person
office.
has the capability to do it, but it's not necessarily a primary
Exactly.
job function. So
Yeah, but it is for that office though. Scheduling those meetings. So you just want to make sure that they get done. But we can certainly hold if you want to.
could we just get a little bit more? Is that okay?
Yep, that's fine. Yep, I mean, like I said, Tara did look at it. I mean, because I wouldn't be able to just come up with this by my,
No,
and,
no, and I know that. I just think that
Yeah.
there's so many shifts in that office right now that
Yep, no, that's fine.
everybody really needs to
Yep.
kind of know what their expectations are. But I think otherwise, I think it's very well, I think you put a lot of time into these, Courtney.
Yep, no, that's absolutely fine.
So we'll hold that.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the appointment of Shirley. I'm gonna slaughter the last
Liz-
name.
Mazinski.
Mazin-
Mazinski, yeah.
To the Building and Facility Construction Committee from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025.
Some information on this person and this role.
I have nothing,
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
What?
Yep, sorry, Heather.
I have nothing on this,
Right.
Oh,
so
okay, yep. So Shirley had contacted me and they do request of the school committee to make an appointment. So it's actually a school committee appointment to the Building and Facilities Construction Committee to represent the school committee. And she has been on it, I don't know how many times before, but this is just another appointment for another 3-year term. So this is a town committee for building and facilities construction. So you want to have school committee representation, and Shirley has done it in the past. She is definitely looking forward to doing it again if the school committee so chooses.
Has she been
But-
doing it up to this point? I don't know this person. I don't know this name.
Oh, yeah, I've known Shirley for many, many, many years. Yes, she has. I don't know how many years she goes back, but it's quite a while.
Is there like, we meet her?
yeah, can she come to a school committee meeting?
Like, what exactly is she responsible for too?
Okay.
What does she
Well,
do?
this appointment is much later than it should have been done.
Yeah.
And she's actually on the committee right now. And she was hoping actually that it would get done on July 20th, but I did let her know that we had to, cancel the meeting and postpone it. But I did let her know that we were probably going to have a meeting on the 27th.
Mhm.
Paul, I don't know if you want to add any more to
Yeah,
that.
I'll chime in. So the Building and Facilities Construction Committee is a committee that if we're ever to, in the school department, build or do a massive renovation of project, we need town representation from it. So if you think back to when the elementary school was built and the middle school was renovated, we had a full building committee. It included members of the community, it included members of the school committee, principals, assistant superintendents, business managers, town administrator, members of the Board of Selectmen. And this is just another appointment should we ever have to put together a building and facilities construction committee, a representative from the town for it.
Would one of us also
Oh, no,
be
no,
part of that?
There is currently, this is not the MSBA committee.
Oh, it's not the
It's
MSB,
not,
sorry.
no, no, no.
Sorry,
This is a town building and facilities construction
Okay.
committee.
I
Yeah,
was wrong. So.
yeah,
Courtney, I
because
just wanted
it
to
could
go-
be a school project that maybe we wouldn't get MSBA funding from and
Okay.
not have to go to that extreme, that other type of committee as well, but.
So I think I need to know, because I've been around the block a couple of times.
Mhm.
What does she do in town? What bill, because what committee does she go to find out information? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Do we need to have this if we're not doing anything right at the moment?
Well, according to the town, because they're the ones that send a letter to the, to us saying we are looking for a school committee, appointee. And she's actually currently running this, I guess she's a chairman. And, it comes from the town. It's a town committee. So they're looking for a school committee appointment on this committee.
So let's
If I
do
could
this.
chime
Let's,
Let's get Matt to come and talk to us and figure out what this is. Because
And invite her to come.
yes, I mean,
Mhm.
I don't have a problem, but I
Yeah.
need to understand what this appointment is. And because we don't get any meeting minutes from this person, if she's representing the school, we should be getting some type of meeting minutes. We've got no meeting minutes, Courtney, and I've been on
Yeah.
almost 2 years and there's been
Yeah.
no meeting. So I'm appointing somebody that has never come before us,
Yeah.
never given us meeting minutes, but I have to appoint her.
Yeah, but that's because we haven't had any school projects, Heather. That's why.
But she's going to meetings representing the school. So again,
Yeah.
I think for all of us, I think we just
Yeah.
need clarity what this
Yep.
is, what is her representation, which meeting on the town side does she represent the schools?
If I could chime in for one moment.
Yep.
I've been at all the buildings. Her name is on every plaque of the committees who built those
Yeah,
buildings.
she's
So
served.
is
from-
she on the elementary? Is she on the elementary
Yeah,
plaque?
elementary, middle
Yeah.
school.
Okay, I need to meet
high
this girl.
school and.
Yeah, she's
primary
been
school.
doing this for many, 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 many years. It's just a required appointment that we make, but we're kind of late doing it this year.
okay, so you
For
know, what
for
we'll do?
these next 3 years.
We will invite
Yeah,
her or Matt to the next
Yeah.
school committee meeting to give you some input, to give you a little bit more background on the position.
Thank
We'll
you.
hold that.
Heather.
I'm just one person, but if anyone else feels the same way,
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate that.
So next is turning it back over to school business and operations manager report to Courtney.
okay, I have some year-end reclassifications. I actually have 2 that were sent on the 20th. And then another one that was sent today to actually close out a grant. So I have reclassification of tuition late fees from preschool tuition fees to the tuition late fee account. That's the first one. There's 4 of them, a total of $100.
So we'd be looking for a motion, correct, Courtney?
Yes, please.
So I'd be looking for a motion to, for someone to approve this, to do this.
I move to approve the reclassification as discussed by Courtney.
Second,
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salazar.
Heather Moore and I. Next one, Courtney.
Okay, next we have 3 reclasses. The first 2 are salaries going from the enrichment program revolving fund to the general fund. That's the first 2. And the last one is going from, it's for repairs, going from the school choice revolving fund to the FY22 rural aid grant building repairs. And that's to use up the rest of the rural aid grant.
So I'd be looking for a motion.
Courtney, if you can help me with the wording, I will say so moved.
Okay, yep, we're, the FY 2022 year-end reclassifications, which is a total dollar amount of $3,553.74.
So moved.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by, second by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay, and then the last one I have is in the amount of $660.38, and that's using up the balance of our FY 20 Title IV grant.
Luke, you looking for a motion?
I move to reclassify, as Courtney said, for the FY 24 grant. 600 some dollars, I'm not sure of the amount.
Yep, $660.38
Perfect.
to reclass to the FY 20 Title IV grant.
We have
Motion-
that?
Was sent in an email to us.
Oh, the extra one, that's right, okay.
Yep.
This is the second one, yeah, the second packet.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by,
Second,
second by Monique. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay, thank you very much. And the last thing that I have for you is the auditor's report for the FY 21 end of the year, DESE end of the year financial report. And it's pretty short because there weren't any findings, so there's not much there. But and I also did make a copy of the FY 21 end of year financial report for you as well. And that's all I have for this evening.
Well, that is awesome news to get in the independent auditor's report to say that we didn't have any findings. So thank you to you and your staff for doing an excellent job for us, Courtney, and keeping us out of trouble. So
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
any other topics not anticipated?
No.
So we do need to do an executive session. We will be going from executive, we will not be returning to open session. So we will go right home afterwards. So
We
I
did
need-
not, we did not have executive session on the agenda.
thought you put it on the agenda.
We put it on the agenda, but then I took it off because we didn't need it. Did I have to add it for something?
I thought whatever. So
Well, if we need to schedule a quick meeting to do an executive session next, I didn't have it on this agenda.
Mhm.
That was my error.
Are we, in regards to safety and any special education changes, was that what was originally supposed to be discussed?
It was not safety, it was just special education changes.
we were supposed to discuss with the group what we were doing for safety.
Oh, for safety?
Yeah, just giving them an
You
update.
just met, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
we met on Friday.
What day was it? Yeah.
We have, it's not on the, we have it.
It's not, we can't talk about it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we have school committee scheduled on the 10th, so we
We
can
can
do an executive session then.
Yep. Okay.
keep us all out of hot water, please.
Yeah,
So I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn at, hang on, where's my clock? At 8:48 PM.
I move to adjourn the school committee meeting of July 27th, 2022 at 8:48 PM.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
By Monique.
Monique. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Monique Salvis, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you all.
Okay, good night.